And I first went on a Palestine demo in the Lebanon War of '82 with the Jewish Socialist Group. That was the first time.
I know that the war really. I wasn't there. My brother, my younger brother, was there in the school, and my grandmother's house got hit. And we do have the remnant of the Israeli shell that hit the roof, where all the pigeons are kept from my uncles, and a lot of the pigeons died. So luckily, no one else was injured. But my how old was my brother at the time? 12. He was 12 years old, just about to turn 13. He was in boarding school, and he got caught out in that war.
And so that was the first time we went on a demonstration as the Jewish Socialist. At that time, if you had, it was really, the community was under such pressure to be pro-Israel. Much more than there is now, and now it's a much more polarized thing. But then it was very difficult to speak out about anything. But we were the only Jewish group going on such demonstrations.
But now the Jewish bloc is quite because I walk with the Jewish bloc.
It's very varied, the Jewish bloc. But over the decades, most of the Jews that we marched with on those demos, a few different small groups, they tended to be secular Jews, and often atheist Jews. But some of whom were very interested in Jewish culture, but others less so. But we recognised each other as Jews and wanted to work, try and meet up as a kind of semi-Jewish bloc, if you like. But they were mainly secular and atheist Jews. When we had the Jewish bloc since October 7th, 2023. As that came together, and I was one of the founders of it, it was quite interesting because the first demo we went on together, a week or two after October 7th, there were maybe a few dozen Jews, but more than we expected because because it was it was a big shock. What happened on October the 7th?
We've been getting that for 70 odd years. So we've had many October 7th. As a Lebanese person, I was there when Israel first invaded in 78. But for the Jewish community, it was a shock.
It was a shock, and it was, and quite soon a kind of big propaganda pressure grew up, and which made it very difficult to say and do things. But we thought, no, we've got things to say on this. We've been saying them since the Lebanon War of '82. So we had a few dozen, and it was different ages. The people who had been coming on the demos before that, we've been getting older and older, and it was quite a lot of younger people started to come, and then
also religious people. I mean, I've seen young boys with kippahs that are watermelons. And I just cry when I do see that. It's just so moving.
I had one friend at university who, interestingly enough, he was adopted by a working class Liverpool Jewish family. Although he's traced back his origins, and his family were Kuwaitis, and he grew up.
Wow.
He grew up.
That's an interesting. That's a novel.
For adoption.
That's a novel.
And somehow he was brought up by this Jewish working class couple in Liverpool, but at university he became quite radical and was an anarchist. But he had a kippah with PLO on it.
Well, I have to explain about the kippah with the watermelon in case people don't know. The watermelon is the symbol, the color of the Palestinian flag, because actually it's illegal in Palestine, Israel, both the 48 land and the occupied territories to actually carry the Palestinian flag. So for a long time, the Palestinians would use the watermelon, the colors, because it represented that. So it's very heartening to see a lot of young religious Jews who are actually saying, not in my name. Not in my name.
And it's interesting because there's been an ultra religious element that's
there's always been
but they're politically, that's a very long story, but they're all I say is politically they're not very good allies, and they've got some very problematic connections. But there's been what has been very obvious as the dozens became hundreds, as hundreds became thousands.
Yes.
You know, I mean, and there's been at least 4 times when we've had more than 1,000
Yes.
on the march in the block, and a number of them are people that identify not particularly as secular Jews. They live quite secular lives, but they also, it's like half secular, half religious.
Quite few Muslims are.
Yeah, and it's kind of liberal Jews.
Muslims are like that. So
liberal, progressive,
absolutely,
reform Jews.
But
not
they
reform
keep,
like
they
reform
keep
UK.
some, they keep some of the traditions,
Yeah, and so I've, you know, I've built up some friendships with those people, and that's been a bit of a novelty for me because, you know, I hung around mainly secular leftish circles, you know, and like with the Bengalis in the East End, the ones I've worked most closely with over the years have been secular Bengalis.
Yes.
You know,
well, I used to wear hijab a while ago, so I could have been sitting here with hijab, David. So I think the Palestine and the Gaza genocide, I think it's sharpened a lot of minds now. It's very clear. The military-industrial complex, capitalist imperialism, and the connections of all the elites around the world and how they are, paying into this genocide. And I think it's now become really clear. It's nothing to do with religion. It's to do with humanity, human rights, colonialism. What we accept now. And it's actually, as Anas al-Sharif, who was assassinated, along with 200, I mean, there were 5 journalists killed in that attack, but there's been 238, I think, so far, both in Gaza and some journalists were killed in Lebanon. But he said Palestine is the heartbeat of every freedom-loving person in the world now, because we can see it now.
It's bigger than... I read that statement.
It was his last will and testament, which he wrote in April.
So there's real, you know, there's really strong and deep solidarity has been built.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like, I mean, when we started going on the big Palestine demos, we weren't sure how we would be received. You know, there have been demos over the decades where we've encountered some very dodgy placards.
You would get that,
But normally what we do in that situation is argue with people.
Yes, absolutely.
Question them about it. But we also know that if that's there, that will be played up by the Jewish establishment bodies to say they're all anti-Semites. Anyway, but we were just welcomed with such warmth and love. And then we were realizing after a few demos that only a small part of the demo can see us because they were so big, those demos, and they were so packed in. So after a while, what we started to do in those demos was we'd go about 2/3 of the way and then break off and come to the side and make a line along the side with all our banners and placards and just stay there as the demo was going past, so many more people. And what happened when people went past is they didn't just walk past; they came over to greet us, to hug us, to have conversations with us, ask questions, and it was incredibly moving. I
think it's a legacy. I mean, Gaza has been a tragedy. I mean, beyond tragedy. We probably expect maybe 200,000 dead really at the end. Probably more.
I know it's
we're not under the rubble.
than,
it's more than the 60,000 plus and it has been the pain that we're all facing. I mean, the Gazan population is, I don't know how they're surviving. They are incredibly, but I think what it has done is brought open people's eyes, open people's hearts, and brought people together. And it's almost like there's no way of going back now.
That's what I think. You know, I mean, although in some ways things are going to get even more horrible in the next few years, I think we're in the death throes of Zionism, basically. I think that Zionism is on its way
But as long as Zionism is playing into capitalism and
but it's
the neoliberal agenda and the military industrial complex.
But it's only worth supporting for those powers. If it's going to guarantee a certain amount of control over the Arab world and things like, because Israel was
and the resources
being America's policeman in the region, but Israel is collapsing internally, It's a slow process, but it's their economy is in a lot of trouble.
But I always say, like, when people talk about, I'll say that briefly because I think this is going to be an extra little bonus podcast. When people talk about the two-state solution, I say, okay, yeah, I support the two-state solution for South Africa, one for blacks, one for whites. Now, how does that sound?
Yeah.
This is colonialism. We can't accept colonialism.
No.
Preferably no borders. I have a dream of taking a road trip across all the way through, Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. Literally, I say it's going to be a minibus now, and there's loads of people who want to come on that minibus with all my friends from different backgrounds. But that's the thing; it's about really standing up to this idea of the colonialism that has used us and put the borders.
Yeah, and you see, as well as the economy collapsing in Israel, their military, they've got the power in terms of the bombs.
Yes.
But there's two kinds of refusal that are going on in Israel. There's a kind of very openly political refusal, particularly among young people, some of whom were filmed on a demo recently, burning their call-up papers. And there's more and more of them, and they're putting them in jail, or they're sort of doing something with them so they're not, because they also don't want to fill up their prisons with it. Yeah,
there are enough Palestinians in the prisons. There's no space for the Jews as well.
Exactly. And anyway, so that's in a way a very obvious political campaign. But Israel's military relies on reservists who get called up 1 month a year until they're 55 years old. And what I'm hearing is that there is up to 50% of people not turning up to their reserve duty, and the army hasn't got the resources to chase them, and so. But
one of the things I actually feel sorry for, and I did visit Palestine. I went to the West Bank. I did go to Jerusalem, and I'm one person who didn't like Jerusalem. The tension was palpable. I didn't like that, but one of the things I felt sorry for was the Israeli population, the Jewish population, because I felt Zionism had robbed it of its soul. By making all the young people go to the West Bank and oppress the Palestinians. And also I saw a lot of settlements and settlers, and I kept thinking, why would you put your own people in a prison inside a prison? That seems like, why would you do that? So I kind of feel like some Jewish people I know are saying we need to liberate the Jews from Zionism.
No, absolutely.
It's a liberation for both.
No, Zionism has been an absolute catastrophe for the Palestinians, but it's also been disastrous for its impact on Jewish life.
But as you said, and we said, Gaza has really sharpened the views, and I've walked with the Jewish bloc. My friends and other on the demos, and as a Muslim Arab to this British Muslim Arab to this British Jew. Here we go. There's a hug.